Hi, I'm Guntower Mike. Sorry if I sound a bit twangy today, but I've got a bit of a cold and I'm just trying to soldier through it. Because today I want to show you my game, Pandora Celeste. Now, if you've watched my intro video, you already know that Pandora Celeste is a love letter to all those great sci-fi monster movies we know and love. But it doesn't just evoke the big ones. As the name suggests, the crew of the Pandora wake up to discover that they're trapped on a Pandora's box full of evil nasties from the sci fi universe, and their simple job is to survive. But they don't just have to survive the nasties, they have to survive the ship. Because the ship's computer has engaged its emergency protocols, and every company crew member knows the ship's protocols are designed to protect company property. They're not designed to protect the crew. Ships and cargo are expensive. Crew, on the other hand, are replaceable. So you play a member of the crew, and each one is an archetype designed to evoke the kinds of character that crop up again and again in these stories. You have Fly Girl, the kick-ass female pilot who takes no nonsense from anyone and isn't afraid of going toe to claw with some evil nasty from another dimension. And then there's Skins, the ship's android, who's as much Roy Batty or Seven of Nine as he is Data or Bishop or Ash. And Cargo, a techno geek who can use any tool on the ship. And those are the three crew in the demo game. But in the full game, you'll have Cap, the ship's captain, Greaseball, the mechanic, and the kid, because every story like this has to have an annoying kid somewhere, doesn't it? Now, I should say that this is just a prototype at the moment. None of this artwork is final, though the Fly Girl hero card is pretty close to the kind of look we're going for. And I'm going to use this prototype to walk you through the main beats of the game. But this isn't a full game. It's only got 3 of the 6 crew members and only 1 of the main nasties, and I can't stress enough that this is just prototype art. Please don't judge the book by its current cover. But it should give you a pretty good idea of how the game plays and the feelings I'm trying to evoke. When I set out to design this game, I wanted to make a game that was quick to play, so easy to learn that you could literally open the box and learn as you played along, and balanced so that the survivors always felt like they'd escaped by the skin of their teeth, but no player really got knocked out until the very end game. And that, believe me, that was a really tough ask, but I think I've got there. At its heart, this is a card-driven game. Not really a deck builder, because while it has some deck building elements in it, they don't work the way most deck builders do. I mean, for instance, when you pick up a new card, you don't put it into your discard pile, you take it directly into your hand so you can use it immediately, because, believe me, you're going to need to. And every crew member starts with their own unique deck of action cards, personalised to who they are. So, for instance, Fly Girl can move quite easily around the ship. She can climb into and out of the aircon, and she can fight better than most other crew members can. Skins, on the other hand, may not be as agile or aggressive as Fly Girl is, but he's got great security access and the ability to bypass a lot of the ship's protocols. And he can absorb a lot more damage than humans and recover faster than they can. And there's not a single tool on this ship that Cargo cannot use. You deal yourself a hand of 5 cards from your action deck. And each turn you can choose either to play just 1 card, do what it says on the card, then discard any other cards you don't like and replenish your hand back to 5. Or, when you really need to, you can expend a huge effort to play multiple cards, doing each of those actions in sequence, but at the end of your turn you're so knackered you can't replenish your hand. And you use these cards to move around the ship, or pick up stuff that's lying around the ship, and either put it into your hand, or if it's a tool you want to use, place it on your ready slot, where you can then use a card that's got the same icon as the tool to activate the tool anytime you need to. And also, you can fight. Because you'll soon discover, as you move around the ship, that it is infested with nasties. But before you can deal with the nasties, you have to survive the ship. As I said earlier, the ship has engaged its emergency protocols. And depending on how difficult you want the game to be, you draw between 1 and 3 cards from the emergency protocols deck and you place them face up below the turn tracker. Now, each of these is a fairly simple logic puzzle which you have to solve as a team before they count down to 0 and do something that will lose you the game, like opening all the airlocks to vacuum and flushing you out into space, or jettisoning your valuable cargo, putting you in hock to the company for the rest of your lives. In this particular example, the ship has initiated the lockdown protocol, which means that all of the red doors dotted around the ship and the blue airlocks have been locked down tight and can only be opened by bypassing them. And to do that, you have to get into the company rep's office and type a code into the company rep's computer. Only problem is, the company rep's office is currently locked down by the protocol. So collectively, you need to figure out how one of you can get into the company rep's office so that they can shut down the lockdown protocol, unlock the airlock to cargo control, and someone else can go into cargo control and stop the jettison protocol before the ship dumps all your cargo, because you've only got 6 turns to do it in. And there's a bunch of ways you can solve this puzzle. I've already shown you one, and I'm not going to spoil it by showing you any of the others, but they're all pretty obvious. And once you've shut down all the protocols, in this case by entering cargo control, a big nasty appears, and everything twists to the end game. Suddenly, each crew member is transmitted a hidden agenda on their PDA, which they need to achieve if they want to unlock the escape vehicles. Some of these are company agendas to do with gathering data or covering up what the company's been doing on the ship. Others want to expose what the company's been up to. And others are just out for themselves. Now, you don't have to fulfill your agenda. You can wait until the escape vehicles unlock automatically, but if you want to leave early, and believe me, you do want to leave early, you must either fulfill your agenda or get everyone else to agree to come with you. And of course, while you're all splitting off and sneaking into dark corners, you have a big nasty stalking the ship, looking for crew members to snack on. In the base game, there are 3 different big nasties, as well as bug pods and slime. The monster bug basically hunts everyone and everything. The trophy hunter sends drones to lock onto a target and hunts it relentlessly until it's killed it and taken its skull. Then the drones lock onto another target. And the military android is searching for something inside the ship and will eradicate anything that gets in its way. And on top of that, the ship is infested with a host of little nasties that swarm all over its shadows. Now those are just the basic nasties. I'm hoping that if this game takes off, we can add extra nasties in the stretch goals, suggested by people like you. And I'm already working on a shapeshifter and a time jumper, and I'd love to know what else you'd like to see. The nasties are driven by a simple AI that involves flipping a card and either following their instincts, as given on their Xeno data log, or doing what it says on the card. When they attack you, and they are going to attack you, the same deck doubles as a combat deck. You flip a card, you refer to the relevant attack balloon. If it's red, it hits you. If it's blue, it misses. The balloons on the left are for big nasties and weapons tools used by the crew. The balloons on the right are for little nasties and fists. You won't be surprised to learn that big nasties and weapons are more likely to hit things than your puny little fists. If they do hit you, your action cards are your wounds. You can choose to place action cards on your wound tracker from your hand, where you can decide which cards to lose, or from the top of your discard pile or the top of your deck. So the more wounds you take, the more your options narrow. And if you take 8 wounds, you die. For the record, the monster bug inflicts 5 wounds. Ouch. -1 for every room it moves through to get to you, so it's a good idea to run away. Or you could try to point the bug at somebody else. Everything you do makes noise, and the crew member who makes the most noise becomes the first target, who all the nasties are zeroing in on. So it's a perfectly valid strategy to make noise somewhere else, diverting the nasty away from their previous target, or towards someone you don't like.
Remember that moment in all of these movies where you're hiding from the monster and it's questing, looking for you, and finally it turns away when all of a sudden your communicator beeps and someone on the other end of the line goes, "Dead meat, are you alright?" And the monster's head whips round and you are toast.
That is the You First card, which I'm now going to drop, which you play against somebody else to give them 5 noise, which almost certainly makes them the first target. And while the nasty is chasing them, you can get away. The game ends the minute anyone powers up and decouples one of the escape vehicles, either the detachable bridge or the cargo shuttle. But you can only do that if they are either completely full or you've got the escape code by fulfilling your agenda. And even then, you have to play a certain sequence of cards, which, while it's possible with just one person, is a hell of a lot easier if you've got allies. So you might want to team up with other people and hope their agenda doesn't conflict with yours. So that's it. That, in a nutshell, is Pandora Celeste. It plays equally well with 1 as it does with 6, and depending on the scenario, it can take between 40 to 90 minutes to play. And there is a short learning campaign which just eases you into the game step by step, where you can simply take it out of the box and immediately start playing and learn as you go along. If we get enough support, we're hoping to crowdfund the full game at the end of 2023. Before that, we plan to launch a print and play of the demo to coincide with the UK Games Expo, though I'm afraid it won't have the 3-dimensional Perspex aircon system. But do check us out at guntowergames.com Pandora, and please do subscribe to the channel, where I'll be posting more detailed videos about aspects of this game, as well as having some fun with board game pitch meetings and other stuff. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.